The movie begins with the visual of two soldiers sitting in their trucks and listening to the loud noise of gunfire in the village nearby and noticing the sky was bright with rockets that were being launched. One of the soldiers mentions that he had dated a girl from the town who he thought was cute. Distracted by their conversation, the man didn't realize the attack launched against them before it was too late. A group of mercenaries appear out of nowhere and take out the soldiers individually, giving them no time to defend themselves. Once all the soldiers are dead, the mercenaries head inside the setup tent and find a woman who's been tied up. Calming the woman down, one of the mercenaries attempts to free her, but the woman screams, biting the man's finger off. Screaming in pain, the man pushes her to the ground, pointing his gun at her face. Seeing what happened, one of the female mercenaries named Kia speaks to the woman about what she was doing inside the tent, her answer disturbing her. A few minutes later, the team leader, Will, arrives and chastises Kia for keeping the woman alive, reminding her their mission was to take out everyone in the camp and gather information. Raising his gun, Kai threatens Kia, forcing her to shoot the prisoner despite her reluctance. As soon as the gunshot goes off, the group falls under attack from enemy soldiers, forcing them to take cover. Returning to the gunfire, the group also gets into formation and escapes, slowly sneaking into a nearby camp. Exchanging signals with each other, Kai sneaks up between the guarding soldiers and hits him in the head with a bat. Keeping low, the group watches as another soldier threatens 3 prisoners with a gun, and then guns them down one by one. Suddenly, the soldier hears something behind him and begins to flee into the wilderness, closely followed by Kai and her group. As they follow close in pursuit, jets in the sky begin to drop bombs around them, nearly missing them. Evading the attack, Kai and her team manage to reach their pickup spot where a helicopter is waiting for them. Jumping inside, Kai watches as the sky lights up with rockets while they're being flown to safety. During the ride, an angry Will confronts Kai about what she was thinking, asking her what the prisoner he had forced her to murder had said to her. Not feeling threatened by Will's aggression, Kai tells him that the prisoner's words were "don't go down." When they finally arrive at their base, the group takes the stairs to the briefing room, while Kai contemplates if she still belongs in the team. While they take the several stairs up to the office, which seemed like a very long way up, the group decides to take a break to catch their breath. Seeing the never-ending staircase, the group begins to sense something's very wrong, when suddenly the whole building begins to shake, alarms blaring everywhere. After a few seconds, the alarms and shaking stop, increasing the doubt in the group's mind. Sean, one of the team members, decides to go back down to check it out, despite Kai's warning. A few minutes later, the group hears a frightening scream coming from Sean, which forces them to quickly stand on guard. As they wait, they see Sean run back up the stairs, his body covered in blood, and tells them to run before collapsing to the ground. Haley attempts to tell the group that they must be getting tested by God, which wholeheartedly agrees to. Emma tells the group a story about her first deployment and connects it with their situation, telling them that they were being punished. When Jack wonders why, Kai explains it was because they had killed the helpless prisoner. Will refuses to accept Kai's reasoning and instead urges the team to continue going, hoping to find a door to escape. Ordering the others not to speak about this anymore, Will urges the group to continue upward. After a few flights of stairs, Jack notices an exit door and points it out to the group. Opening the door, Will steps inside, surprised when he imagines where they had been a few hours ago, as if they had passed through a portal. Kai follows him inside and watches the events transpire just as they had done before, seeing how they had taken out the soldiers in the unit. Returning to the stairs, confused, they attempt to solve what's happening to them, trying to make sense of what they're seeing. After what they've seen, Rachel refuses to continue with the group and decides to head back down the stairs. After going down several stairs, the alarms begin to blare while the lights in the stairwell change red. A few seconds later, Rachel encounters the ghost of the prisoner they had killed earlier, who attacks her, ripping her apart. From several flights up the stairs, the group can hear their teammates scream in agony and become even more fearful. Kai suggests they need to keep moving ahead of the darkness, timing the alarms in the growing darkness so they can take their breaks in between. In their next break, Kai begins to look through the papers they had found in the tent and finds documents about the prisoner she had killed. She explains to the group that the soldiers were under strict instructions not to kill the woman, nicknaming her the Prophet of Death. Will refuses to believe it has any connection with what they're going through, telling his team that it was just a local superstition. Ordering Kai to stop spreading fear amongst the group, he decides to take some of them through the exit door, while Emma and Haley wait on the stairway. As soon as the others emerge through the portal, Emma begins to hallucinate that Haley's the ghost of the woman they had killed, and pulls her gun against her friend. While shaking with fear, Emma is pulled back, making her fall down the stairs to her death. When Haley begins to scream, the group that had gone through the portal hear her panicked voice and rush back to their friend. Although they're saddened by their friend's death, they're forced to continue up due to the blaring alarm. On their next round of rest, the group decides what was happening to them was supernatural, and that they need to find a way to stop it. Although they all look to Will for guidance, he disappoints them by telling him he doesn't have a plan. The group realizes their leader's decision was affected by his brother's recent death, which he blamed himself for. Angry at the mention of his brother, Will tells the group that he let his feelings cloud his judgment, which led to the death of his brother. He tells the group that the only thing that mattered was the mission, explaining to the group that they were all expendable. Calming Will down, Kai suggests that Ben help Haley get a head start up the stairs because of her hurt leg. When Kai and Carter are the only ones left with Will, they attempt to subdue him, but he fights back, causing Kai to pass out. During the fight, both Carter and Will are fatally hurt and die a few seconds later. With his last breath, he urges Kai and Jack to continue forward, telling them to go through the portal and save the prisoner. Listening to their dying friend, Kai and Jack continue up the stairs, while Carter takes his own life rather than deal with the ghost. Several flights later, the group is exhausted and attempts to come up with a plan that will help them escape the endless stairs. Kai mentions the portal and attempts to figure out where they were discussing their mission. Hoping to save the prisoner from death and avoid the torture, the group decides to go through the portal to the open field, where the unit they had taken out was located. As they watch, they see everything unfold just as it did before. Haley suggests that they shoot Will before he forces Kai to kill the prisoner, but Kai refuses, telling the woman that the goal is to save everyone. Checking their watch, they see their time is almost up and rush back to the portal, making it just in time for the alarms. Heading up the stairs and resting for a few minutes, they decide to go back to the portal and save the prisoner before their past selves have a chance to kill her. While Kai, Ben, and Haley cause a distraction, Jack sneaks around back and heads to the tent where the prisoner is being held. Although he manages to kill the guards, Jack is shot in the back by his past self. Shooting at the group, Kai tells Ben and Haley to head back to the stairs while she saves Jack. Once their past selves had cleared the area, Kai rushes over to Jack and carries him back to the portal, rushing up the stairs to safety. Once they're ahead of the alarm, Kai lays Jack down on the ground and digs the bullet out of his back, pulling it together with glue. Having no other choice, Kai suggests that they beat their other selves to the helicopter and make sure they never come to the stairs in the first place. Although they have doubts about this plan, they decide to go through with it. Following through with their plan, they make it to the helicopter, but just as they jump in, they're brought in front of a door that leads back to the stairwell. They're all shocked by this and are unable to help Jack, who had already been too exhausted by the escape attempt, and watch him die. Being the only ones remaining, Ben, Kai, and Haley continue their journey back up the stairs until the alarm stops and discuss an alternative plan for their next break, suggested by Ben. The group continues to have several attempts, but none of them are successful, repeatedly forcing them to head back into the stairs in an exhausting cycle. After several hours of climbing without rest, their feet begin to bleed, their nails peel from their skin. As they continue up, the temperature of the place begins to change, becoming extremely cold. Ice forms on their clothes and their breath turns to mist. Although she's tried her best, Haley's unable to continue and shows the others the bomb she had taken from the camp. Telling them to leave her behind, Haley decides to use the bomb to kill herself. Once she makes sure her friends are a long distance away from her, she lets the bomb go off, ending her suffering. On their next exit door, Ben and Kai come up with a plan as they're on their last breath. Taking the lead, Kai distracts the others by causing an explosion and manages to save the prisoner. Meanwhile, Ben manages to save one of the prisoners being executed and hurries to the helicopter. Kai gets the prisoner to her friends and tells them that Will is dead, assuring them that their new order was to save the woman. After sending them ahead, Kai encounters Will, who seems to have survived and is almost killed until she's saved by Ben, who returned for her. Together, they manage to kill Will and receive information from their team that the civilians are safe. Kai orders her team to leave without her and watches as Ben fades away into nothing. Heading back into the portal, she encounters her other self and watches as she slowly disappears into nothing. Deciding it was time, Kai walked into the pulsating portal and vanished from sight. Meanwhile, the surviving group arrives at HQ, encounters the malfunctioning elevator, and decides to take the stairs instead. And with that, the movie ends.